Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is July 5th, 2010, and this is Day 9 Daily number 151, and of course, this Day 9 Daily must begin with the same announcement as yesterday. I am having a live Starcraft 2 countdown/launch party on the 26th of July. It's going to be 12 hours of sick Starcraft 2 action, with content contributed by Team Liquid, Gosu Gamers, HD Starcraft, Husky Starcraft, Icy Cup, my brother, Tasteless, like everyone, friggin' everybody is involved. And there's actually new people who have just been coming in as well. So it's going to be like a huge blast, and it's going to be at a live location in Harvey Mudd College in Los Angeles, California. So you can go to day9tv.eventbrite.tv to get a ticket so you can actually be there live. And if for some reason you live in like Sweden or some part that's, you know, not part of America yet, then you can watch all of it online at on this stream that you're watching right now, ustream.tv/day9tv or www.day9.tv. So, oh, look at that. I've been talking for exactly a minute and 11 seconds, and I got all of it out of the way. I just speak in such dense stuff. Just churn out the information fast. In other cool news, it won't just be a giant auditorium with all your StarCraft buddies screaming and hooting and hollering, as we're even going to do a live tournament cast with the King of the Beta tournament finals being casted live by me and DJ Wheat. But there'll also be like pizza, there'll be like food, some t-shirts, there'll be like a LAN area, play Street Fighter 4, some Super Smash Brothers, you can have some board game areas because I'm a big board gamer. So, it's going to be awesome. I'm super excited. So I have 1 month sprint to get all that finished up in terms of organization. I'll see you on the 26th. In other exciting news, the 4th of July was yesterday, which is, of course, the wonderful holiday where we all get drunk and light, dangerous explosives in front of little children. And that was a lot of fun, except for the fact that when I tried to get bread at 10 at night, I just wanted bread and brie. It's like one of my favorite foods. It makes me feel all cultured. It's like sitting in my room playing Akarium on the internet. But when I went outside, it sounded like a friggin' war zone in LA. Like, fireworks are going off everywhere, and these kids lit a firework under my car. Do you know how dangerous that is? They just put a giant, one of these like long wick fireworks in the middle of the road, and it's like a black tube on a black pavement at 10 p.m., which is oftentimes dark in Los Angeles, and I just drive over this thing, and all of a sudden a firework just shoots up out of the ass of the car, and I was like, and all the kids are like, yay! I thought it would have been awesome. Even if I got killed, they'd probably be like cheering and stuff, but that was pretty intense. And then, of course, we lost power, because where I'm from in Kansas City, my hometown, we lose power because of snow, or thunderstorms. Bad weather really is when we lose power. But in Los Angeles, you lose power on the 4th of July, on New Year's, and whenever the Lakers win anything. People are just like, woo, we won! And they take their guns and they just shoot the power lines. So it came back eventually, but I just kind of had to sit around bumping into things for a little bit. And let me tell you something. My roommate's cat freaked out and vomited all over his room. And he got a treat when he got back in town today. Woo! It was pretty intense. But of course, yesterday we got the chance to look at Huck's cool game, Protoss vs. Terran, that was way more action-packed than your average game of StarCraft 2. Because, like I was saying yesterday, most people get all excited at the new game, whenever they get it. So it's just, it just feels exciting no matter what. But if you look at a game from right at the start of the beta, you'd be like, that's kind of dry. People aren't really moving out and attacking. We're seeing more of it, but it's still kind of a little bit flat and immobile in terms of a lot of people's just general play. They're very passive. Until we started to see games like yesterday's game, which was just awesome, sweet, action-packed game start to finish, really demonstrated how StarCraft 2 is evolving to be something really, really cool. And today we have the chance to look at another one of Huck's games, and this is more of just a great example of good transitioning. So we're just going to jump right into the game. As you can see, I was making sure I had sound turned on, because that is a good old trope of watching these games, is that I'm always like, is sound on? And like a million billion people are messaging me on IRC, it's like, turn on the sound, we can't hear anything, tell us the names of your music, just getting all mad. And this is, by the way, one of my favorite things about Huck. Watch his rally point. See, so here's a nice, good, stable rally point. Okay, cool. He has these queued up. Watch the orange line. It'll start just like freaking out here. Huck just like re-rallies it like crazy. I'm actually not going to move. I'm actually going to speed it up, see if he does it. Yeah, what is that? He just like just like clicks everywhere. Even at the start of the game. I'm just gonna rewind this because this is awesome. See, look at the rally points. Huck is like an epileptic fit, man. Just wherever I want to rally, I'll rally. So that's always a good little bit of fun. But okay, now to actually talk about the game, because the focus is going to be why Huck is a neat person in Protoss vs. Zerg. And also, in particular, why I like the strategy a lot on Scrap Station. So we have Scrap Station, which, as you note, is a map with a long, long movement distance. We see here this probe is moving out very early right after it builds the pylon, because it's going to take an extremely long time to get there. And also these expansions. This expansion here, which is the natural for Zerg, as you can see on the minimap, that natural points away from Protoss, so it's very, very safe to take, and especially since Blizzard put these destructible debris here, you have one choke point to defend your expansion, so it's really easy to get early expansions up. So, when I'm Protoss on this map, I actually just 2-gate right here. Even though the Zealots take a little bit longer to get there, the fact that it's a split choke is very, very helpful for pressure. And hell, I wall it off and I get to expand, and expanding is very good. But Huck, on the other hand, is building a gateway on the top of his ramp. So he's pretty much locked into going for some sort of fast cybernetics core play and using some reasonable follow-through with that. So here's a spawning pool building right now. You know, I kind of prefer trying to throw down my hatch first, but if for some reason a probe does scout you on 9, I don't think there's anything at all wrong with just building the spawning pool first, especially considering that this is going to eat into the Protoss' economy a pretty decent amount. And Huck continuing to close off this front entrance with pylons and gateways, finishing the geyser, getting the second pylons right on time. Now, when I said that he needed to do something with his cybernetics core, he's really left with 3 choices. Does he go for Stargate? Does he go for a robotics facility? Or does he go for some sort of Twilight Council? I'm just going to talk about the robotics facility and the Stargate for this particular game, because most people are going to be doing something similar to this, getting this cybernetics core really fast. And I wouldn't even say there's anything too wrong with immediately going for some sort of immortal push. You can knock down these rocks if you have the immortals, or if you just want to do an even faster push, you can just walk the immortals directly to the opponent's front. The immortal pushes are still pretty strong, even though most Zerg players are, pretty comfortable dealing with that. But I was most impressed when Huck went not for the robotics facility, but instead for the Stargate. Look at this. He's walling off with his Zealot. He's getting the Sentry. This is really normal, and there should be a Warp Gate coming up. Yep, there it is. This is one of the main reasons why people get the second gas so fast, so they can get this, so they can get a Sentry and a Warp Gate right away. But it looks like Huck is instead going for a Stalker, which is kind of a cool transition. Or actually, I shouldn't say transition, a cool choice, really. Most people are going to favor getting the Sentry so they can force field their front in case of some sort of emergency, and it frees up a little bit of cash. But the Stalker is always going to be pretty good. I mean, getting a Stalker out early, they're so fast and so easy to use. And there's a Zergling hiding. And what do we have Habit doing? Habit is just making queens, expanding. Everything's pretty ordinary here. Something a little interesting, getting a 3rd queen very early. And now, just to speak from the Zerg's point of view, this is kind of cool, getting an early 3rd queen, because especially on Scrap Station, you kind of have a lot of entrances you need to cover, such as these 2. This southern one, you got to worry about this northern one. You got to get all the way out here with creep at some point. And hell, you even need to get creep over to these destructible rocks. There's just a lot of paths that you need to worry about. So what's so great is if you get that early queen, what do? You just throw down a ton of creep tumors right off the bat, and you still have plenty for larva. Now, Huck did an opening that I like, which is, if you're being scouted, just get a 2nd gateway, and don't do anything yet. You just get 2 gateways. It's very ambiguous what you're doing. You still have the ability to do these little pushes. But now there's the Stargate going down. So I do want to spend a little bit of time talking about Phoenixes. Because I love Phoenixes. In Protoss vs. Terran, they're one of my favorite units. In Protoss vs. Protoss, my play almost relies on it when I don't go 2-gate. And I'm doing a lot of 2-gate. But when I'm going for some sort of fast cybernetics core, I love Phoenixes in that matchup. But Protoss vs. Zerg, it's a little bit more difficult. Because what makes Phoenixes such a great unit is 2 things. First of all, they fly around, so you know exactly what your opponent's doing, and your opponent always has to be worried about the Phoenixes. It's not like if there's some scary ground unit, and if you push the ground unit back, you only have to worry about this area here. Whereas if you're pushing forward with your ground unit, Phoenixes can just whip around and do something to your mineral line, so it makes your opponent a little bit more concerned. And the second big reason why Phoenixes are awesome is because the Graviton Beam can lift up units and bolster your regular old ground force. I mean, think of Corsairs in Brood War. If you got a bunch of Corsairs, sure, you could kill Overlords and Mutalisks, but then that's it. You did it. Great, you're done. They can't really bolster your ground force anymore. You can't kill Hydras or Zerglings, but the Phoenixes, on the other hand, you can lift things up and all that sort of happy goodness. So it works great with against Marauders and Stalkers. But against Zerg, there's going to be a lot of Zerglings. There's just going to be a lot of units in general, and plus the Hydralisk, the unit that can actually shoot up at the Phoenixes and basically get them to back off. Those units are pretty